another episode of Tectonic Takes. I'm here with a good buddy of mine. We actually didn't link up this weekend because I took the weekend off, but I was at the game. So what's up, Sass? Welcome to the show. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, it was good. This is like the third of six things I'm recording on the earthquakes this week.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and you're always killing it with the AftershockSJ, and I really appreciate that you help our content on our Instagram, and a lot of things go pretty viral. So I do appreciate you. I mean, you're a famous guy around the block. I mean, around Pavement,
Yeah,
they say, "Hey,
yeah,
what's up, Sass? I know you."
yeah. That actually did happen last Saturday. Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
But if anyone sees me, I'm just a dude. Please come say hi to me, like all five of you that know me.
Yeah, on our Discord. If you guys haven't joined our Tectonic Takes Discord, please do so. They were like, "Hey, do you guys know Saz?" And I was like, "Do we know Saz?"
You know
Like,
what the best part is I'm in the Discord. I just never check it.
yeah, yeah. And I'm like, "Of course we know Saz, dude. He's our boy. I mean, he's Hamiro's best friend, but Jesus, you
Yeah,
know."
yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining. Wish we could kind of be here on a little bit of a happier note. We're actually recording this right before the Celta Vigo match, and that's going to be a fun match tomorrow. It's going to be a nice little international friendly. Barcelona just destroyed Inter Miami 6-0, so let's see what happens tomorrow in that game. But you were at the match, right, on Sunday. What'd you think?
I think it's not as bad as everyone is saying. I think especially we'll start with the first half. I think we had so many chances and we had a lot of bright spots, especially with Benji really looking like a full winger. I think Espinoza has really come back into form. Like stat wise, obviously he's been incredible this season, but as far as play, I think we can all agree, especially at the start of the season, we've seen better from Christian Espinoza. And I feel like this last game, it was like the Christian Espinoza of the bubble, almost. It was really good, and the Miro was great. I saw this is Tanner Beeston's best game of the season. It was almost like when Alanis was here, and he was pretty much couldn't get by him. Obviously, people got by him this game, but I think there were a lot of positives to take away from this game if we kind of remember that we're coming off the tail end of, and I don't want to blame Almeida, like a very poor start of the season and a season that didn't look like it was going to go anywhere, and we just kind of take it as a building step for the next couple of years. Like there were promising moments.
Yeah, I was at the game, and to me, honestly, what stuck out to me the most was Steve Clark didn't have a bad game. I mean, Steve Clark, their goalie, actually stopped a lot of shots, and we kind of forget about it a little bit, but I feel like he had some massive saves on. I mean, Paul Marie had like at least 3 shots on frame that were, they were all they're all blocked pretty well. So I feel like he doesn't get as much recognition this game as he should have because he definitely had a big game and he definitely stood up for them when they needed the most. Another thing I wanted to talk about really is that Ferreira guy, Sebastian Ferreira. I mean, he was a $4 million man coming into this last transfer window for Houston. If you have a $4 million DP coming off your bench, you're in a different league than us. And I hate to say this, I know we always do the comparison. Oh well, this is like our moms making the comparison with a successful friend of ours or someone that we used to know, right? And then they're always like, well, he has an NWSL team, or they have 2 championships as well, or they have Hector Herrera. So it's something that the comparisons are always going to come because they're the zombie quakes, and unfortunately, it's just
Well,
something that we totally need to go ahead and and understand, guys. I hate to say it, these guys are in a different league. I mean, you bring in a guy like Hector Herrera, a guy who's very expensive, a guy who our old coach was a little jealous about getting Hector Herrera or Houston getting Hector Herrera. You have a guy like Sebastian Ferreira coming off of the bench. So it's just like, no matter how much we like to make that comparison, I feel like Houston is in a league of their own. Again, they have an NWSL team. They have a lot of things that we don't have. So I think we should be a little better than this. I think we should have tied at least at home. But I feel like if Jeremy Abubisi slots that goal in on the goal with the goal line stave from his name's escaping me, but the defender for Houston went ahead and saved the goal on the line, and I feel like this game would have been different. Maybe Espinoza could have passed the ball one step a little sooner, and Abubisi would have had the chance to look up, and then he would have scored it. So this game could have went a different way, but at the end of the day, guys, they had 2 guys that make a lot more than a lot of our players on the team. And they also had a guy named Fafa Pico, and I'm very familiar with Fafa Pico because he's really good, and he came on my show. So I always keep an eye on him. That's a guy I would have loved to bring in for that Benji Kanovich side. I feel like he's a player that brings a lot of quality, and he could take a lot of people off of Miro. I mean, Saz, sorry for kind of going on a little rant there, but what's your opinion on that? Do we feel like we're in a different league than Houston, or do you think Houston is kind of at our level?
So I think we're looking at something different. Obvious, I've gone to a few of the season ticket things, season ticket holder things where you get to kind of talk to Leach and some of the front office guys, and obviously they're kind of selling you a show. Obviously, like it's like a politician, they're going to talk to you a certain
Right.
way, but they also are giving you some insight. But before I get into that, your Hector Herrera point, I, the man, you could see the difference on the field with him. It's not like a Nowney who's gonna like dribble past people and score, but he's coming off of one of the best organized teams in the history of the game. Diego Simeone, Atletico Madrid, those guys fight like dogs for him. And now he's coming to MLS, which we can all agree is a step down from Champions League contending team. And there were little moves I saw Ramadi do, and I saw Jamiro do that have been dominant all season, and Herrera didn't even look like he was trying. He was easily able to defend it, and that's not a knock on our guys. That's just a testament to him and his ability. I mean, he got caught out that one time on the Jabo miss, which Montero got to give him huge credit on winning that ball. But as far as league of their own, I think San Jose, from what I can tell, is we're looking to build something a little different. I think we're really looking at our youth program right now, and I really think we're looking at the 15 to 19, maybe 15 to 20-year-olds we have right now, and we're saying, "Whoa, guys, we got a group of stars right here. We have a group of stars. We have Emmy, we have Cruz, we have Nico, we have Cade, we have Benji, we have, and then a bunch of names that none of us even really know coming through the academy. Some of them will probably fade out. Some of them might be stars. Some of them might move on. Some of them might be mid. But I think we're really looking at that and saying, hey, let's build the next couple years, get a core group of guys, someone and good guys too, like not just like trouble in the locker room. And I think we're building towards that versus kind of being like, all right, we kind of got some guys that are going to be here for a year or two, and then let's just sign an all-star. Let's bring in some jersey sales. Let's just try and get that extra 5 wins and then see if we can make a run.
Yeah, to me, honestly, it's just a little unfortunate because they had two guys that they brought in this year that would trump any transfer that we've ever had. So it's just truly unfortunate if they expect us or they expect the Quakes to even try to compete with that. I know we should be able to compete with it, but again, no, we don't even have one guy that's a transfer fee that's over $2 million, and they have a guy who $4 million with Sebastian Ferneda, and then they also have Hector Herrera they just brought in as well. So um, our guys are great. Don't get me wrong. Espinosa has been playing like an MVP this year, but again, he needs a little bit of help. Amiro's been playing great too, but I still think we need that guy. We need that dog. We need that superstar to help other players get open space. And just like how Steph Curry in basketball opens the floor for other guys and makes them play better, we need that threat. We need that guy that's like, whoa, this guy's on this team. That would help every other player be better. I want to talk a little bit about Paul Marie. I felt like Paul Marie had a really good game going forward, but was caught off being too aggressive on defense. Saz, did you see it that way? What did you think about Paul Marie this game?
Um, I think the whole and the back line gets it the worst as far as like from the media. I think the midfield is a bit to blame as well. I think it's just a team thing as a whole, as we're younger and a little bit inexperienced, especially as far as success in the league and going deep in playoffs. I think it's more of a falling asleep thing and kind of understanding how to hold a game and just some of those like things you learn from those deeper runs and those championship teams. Paul Marie more specifically, I haven't been able to watch back the game on the TV. I've only remember what I saw live. I don't remember him in particular kind of sticking out and being like, "Oh God!" And then we also have to remember Fafa's on his side, so
Right.
that's a little bit more to handle than.
And I think one of the most underrated players in the league because he's just a
Yeah.
menace out there, and we saw it firsthand.
I'd also like to give Paul Marie a bit of a pass. I hate when clubs say this, but the reason I think it's true is two reasons. Apparently, Paul Marie was like really really sick or like ill going into the game, and like they kind of had mentioned it after the game, but they weren't trying to make it like, oh, he was sick. It was kind of more of a like, okay, well, Shea picked up an injury. Lopez is out. We had Tommy come up. we really got no one else at the fullback position
Yeah.
right now. And another reason I believe that, not only because it was a little bit more hush hush, is because Paul. I say hey to all the players after the game. Paul Marie, no matter win, loss, or whatever, will come and shake everyone's hand, talk to them, say, "Hey guys, how are you?" Like blah blah blah. This is the first game I've ever seen him. He had like a mask on after the game. He usually isn't one of the players that walks out with a mask, and he went straight to his car. Like he waved at everyone, but he went straight to his car and mask. So I do believe maybe he was sick. And again, I don't want it to be like I'm capping for him or anything, but just I feel like maybe that played a part of it.
Breaking news from
Yeah.
Zach. That was
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got beat on that first goal, and then the second goal, he gets the ball taken away from him. So he gets caught in no man's land on the first goal because he was just a
Hmm.
little too aggressive. And then Fafa kind of gets the ball, and then Ferreira gets open, and then he just kind of doesn't know who to guard. And they're both quality guys, and unfortunately they slotted in the back of the net. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I think the second one really highlights what we're missing, and I talked about on my podcast that I don't want this to be the new cop out because I feel like we always have one like, why aren't we playing trophies? Why aren't we playing Utes? Why aren't we? And then that happens, and then they find a new one like it's JT. We should be playing Matt, and then Matt like concedes the goal. Emmy should be starting. Like there's always something, but this is where I do think a little bit of MLS veteranship could come in, especially in that back line. We've been noticing it 70th minute. There's usually like late in the game we've been conceding a lot of goals, especially when we have leads. That's our brains kind of turn off a little bit. That's kind of where we could use someone to be like, "Hey, calm down," or "Hey, boot it up the field and reorganize really quickly so that they can have possession up there versus here." So I just think someone like, in credit to JT, I see him yelling at players all the time, but I mean, it's a little different when it's coming from a player in your back line saying, "Hey, with me, lines with me, step up, you're there," versus a goalkeeper saying, "Left, right,
Yeah, right.
there." So I think that personally, that's something I think we need. I don't think it's gonna be the hear all, say all, fix all solution, but I think maybe that is something that could help.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. I feel like a veteran presence on the outside back or a center back would be nice. Tanner Beeson, like you said, played well, but I still want to see another veteran presence in there. I feel like we still need it. And according to the press conference, Chris Leach is working on some players coming in with domestically and then internationally as well. So interesting.
That was for the coach.
Oh,
He, yeah, yeah, for the player, because I gotta talk to him a bit before. He was saying something along the lines of, and I genuinely really appreciated this, was he's not looking for that quick fix. Like he's looking for the right guy. It doesn't matter if it's European, doesn't matter if it's homegrown, doesn't matter if it's young, older, whatever. Just a right fix and something long term.
yeah.
And then this wasn't in regards to the center back, but someone had made a joke about Cristiano Ronaldo coming to the club, and he's like, "Trust me, I would if we could." And then he's like, "We are, believe it or not, this is something I know everyone will want to hear, is we are exploring the option of a big spend player, which is something we haven't really done in the past. We're really hesitant on it, and I don't know, but it's at least an option we're looking at right now, and I think everyone would appreciate hearing that." So, and that's what he said. And again, I take that with a huge grain of salt. The
Yeah.
national anthem was playing when he said that, so I could be terribly misquoting this.
Yeah, he might be saved by the bell again. No, but
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think we're gonna see a transfer come in until the coach comes in. So,
yeah, yeah.
especially if it's like a big money spending player. If you had that money right now, Saz, and you saw an international superstar, where are you going? I mean, yeah, of course,
I mean,
outside back seems like an easy one, but think in terms of marketing, terms of putting seats. The Quakes had 13,000 people, so again, we're like at what, maybe 60% capacity. So how would you fill in those seats?
well, if I would, first off, I want to give Chris Leach a shout out. I think he's doing a phenomenal job.
Mm.
Before we go into this, and I think he's in a damned if I do, damned if I don't position. Um, I mean, the obvious one for me that the first one that popped in my head before you even finished is, and this isn't really to fill seats, but Shaq Moore just signed for Nashville. That is, I mean, is that not exactly what we need? That kind of like could have played center back, could have played right back. Like that would have been great. Fill seats. I mean, at that point, we have a large Hispanic crowd,
Mm.
so I don't know. I don't know if Cavani has officially signed anywhere yet. Obviously, that's a huge name. Di Maria went to Juventus, so
Right.
that's off the table. But I mean, if you're just looking to fill seats, like I'm sure there's some like Hispanic superstar out there that's kind of in between contracts right now. Um,
There's one that likes to bite people. That's Cavani's.
yeah. I don't. I think yeah, Suarez might be another one. Yeah, but I kind of like what we're growing in. Like as far as I said, needing that leadership. One thing that a lot of people aren't seeing as a positive right now that I do is these young guys like that are like, and we're kind. I don't want to say we're getting our ass kicked right now, but
Mhm.
like there's games where it kind of feels like it. I'm just gonna call it an ass whooping. These
Yeah.
young guys, Beeson, Marie, Thompson's still kind of young, Jabo, Yule, like these core group of guys that have been here for a little bit and even Skane coming into the picture now,
Yeah.
like that are gonna seemingly be here for the next 3 to 5 years at least. If they continually are playing together, this could really be a building block of like, okay, we're learning the league, we're learning each other, and this could be a strong core. So that's why I don't want to just throw in the superstars, like especially up top, like because that could hurt Jabo's development. It could hurt Benji's development. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. If Cavani or Suarez are here, that's infinite wisdom for our younger players, and that's
Yeah.
infinite success we're getting immediately. But as far as the long term, I would also love to see them get playing time, and I think that's been a big reason why Beeson had such a good game. Is when he gets to play these consistent minutes, it really just helps him.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Just looking over the transfer mark, um, real list of free agents right now. There's one guy that actually kind of sticks out to me. I know it's not somewhere where we would probably want to fill, to be honest, but in terms of kind of like this international superstar, and in terms of being young enough to still help the squad and actually make a name for himself in MLS, is there's a guy that played at Real Madrid called Isco. I don't know if you guys know too much about Isco, but I think he would be a solid solid seat filler, a solid player, and he's still only 30 years old. So that's another one where we can dream a little bit. Um, I'm looking at this list right now. Diego Costa is another one. If we don't want to spend money on Suarez, we can bring in Diego Costa maybe for a couple of games. Um, another bad boy that we can bring in to fill in seats. But again, Marcelo's out there, and we denied him. Jesse Lingard is out there. It looks like he might be going on his way to DC United. But it's just unfortunate. I mean, there's no really kind of big defensive guys besides Chiellini, and he already went to LAFC, and then all the Italian guys have gone to Toronto FC as well. So I think this league is actually in a moment where we want big players again. All of a sudden, it was MLS 2.0 where we want big players. 3.0 we want the Latin superstars or the young Latin guys, and then 4.0 now where we want superstars again. So I just think this team is lacking kind of like a player that would scare the other team. I hate to say it, our players are great. Don't get me wrong, but there's something else when Gareth Bale walks onto the field. Not Christian Bale for you guys who watched last
Yeah.
year or last
Oh, I
week.
was laughing so hard at that.
And
Yeah.
it's funny because you said I'm Batman. I didn't even I was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, no, no. I was gonna tell you in person. Yeah. I just kept saying I'm Batman, and you didn't realize it made me laugh harder. Yeah.
Yeah. So I truly think we need that guy. I mean, when Gareth Bale walks on the field for LAFC, and then you still have to deal with Vela, and you still have to deal with Chiellini, like it's like what's going on here, So it's gonna be something different.
I just thought of I thought of two options. Again, I don't think we're looking for that quick fix. And I don't think we're gonna be seeing anything. There is a World Cup coming up in the winter, and like players like Bale are coming over to get a little fitness for it.
Yeah.
If there is maybe a center back who's looking to get a bit of fitness and isn't just doesn't think they're going to play too much in the Prem, or they don't want to deal with like Prem and then right over there or wherever whatever league they're in, that could come over. And then I actually have a guy I would love to see on the squad. Um, I think he fills out the right back. He plays right back. He fills out that need. He's fast. He's creative, and it also I think it would fill a few extra seats. The only downsides for me is he's a bit older now, and he doesn't have MLS experience. There's a guy named Matt Sheldon. He used to play for the Quakes Academy,
Mm.
or like the U23 team. He has a YouTube channel called Become Elite. A lot of people know him through that.
Oh yeah, I do know
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I do know that. Yeah.
yeah. He's been wanting to play in MLS his whole life. He's been having a pretty good USL season. He's played. He's a USL vet. He's been around multiple USL teams. He went over to New Zealand for a little bit when he was injured. Came back. Now I don't. It obviously doesn't really fill our fix of like we need that veteranship right now, but it would at least maybe add a roster depth spot. And then I know me at least, and I could name a ton of other kids around my age who grew up using his drills would be like Matt, Matt, Matt. So that's a cool one, I think, to keep the option on. I think we could get for a decent amount of money.
Yeah, that seems like actually a good idea. That would be kind of like a little like an under kind of marketing where people know him, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not that big of a name, and it'd be a little cheaper. This is actually a very interesting one, and you brought up the Shaq Moore transfer, but to me, we were actually closer than Nashville in the allocation order, or Nashville now moves down into below us, and we might be one or two now, if I'm not mistaken. There's a name out there that's an American guy, and he could easily walk into this team and help us, and that's John Brooks. John Brooks is another guy who is on a free right now. We're high on the allocation list. That's a name that would bring in a lot of American fans, and I feel like if we're not thinking about bringing him in, then we should use all the money that Calvo had to go ahead and put him in. So yeah, that's a name that I would be number one on my priority list, especially since he's a center back and or yeah, and he's a leader. He's a natural born leader. So that's the one I want to keep my eyes on. Saz, we have. I mean, looking at this, we're kind of at the bottom of the table. It could be worse, right? I mean, I feel like our roster's a little thin. If we get some reinforcements in, we still have a whole bunch of games. I'm not sure why everybody's throwing in the towel so soon. Luckily, the bottom of the West or the bottom of the playoffs in the West is actually kind of still open. Um, would have been nice to tie at least Houston, but again, that's not the end all be all. So it's going to be a little exciting the rest of this MLS season. We have Portland coming up. What do you think is going to happen there? Do you think we get our boots right? Do you think we go out to Portland and grab 3 points? Is this team better on the road now?
Well, oh boy, that's a loaded question, really. MLS is such a rock paper scissors game. As far as like, I don't care if you're the best team in the league. Like sometimes you just don't match up well against a city. Like
Yeah.
it just seems they have your number every year. I think it's Minnesota for us.
Mm.
Like I just feel like every year them or Vancouver, doesn't matter how they're doing, they're just somehow make it a hellhole of a game. Um, and I think that's like part of the misery of being a Quakes fan, but part of the fun of watching the Quakes play is every game's in the air. You like you really don't know if we're gonna concede or score seven.
Right.
Like so it is really hard to see. I'm at the point now where I just want to see certain things versus certain results.
Right. Right.
Like I'd like to see Skane get some more minutes.
Yeah, and he is.
I was watching. Yeah, I was watching some of his UNC highlights. The dude is great going forward, and I've seen him play live a few times now. He is, and he works hard. Maybe part of it is because he hasn't played many minutes, so he knows he can just sprint for 15 versus having to run for 90.
Right.
But he gets in smart positions. Grey Goose is another one, sneaky talent. Like the difference with Grey Goose is I don't think he's like a Montero that's super like flashy. I think he's just like kind of like a glue piece that holds everything together. But
Yeah.
Skane drives it forward. I think a big problem with them is it's not even them. Is we just don't play through the middle. I'd love to see Nico start getting some minutes, because he's not playing for Quakes too, and he's back from international duty. So I hope he shines in the Celta Vigo game. I'm expecting him to play. So that's what I expect and want to see.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking a little bit about this roster and how it's gonna line up next year. I think they really do have to go ahead and start maybe trading one of the midfielders. I think maybe Jackson Yule or Jan Grey Goose. They're a little too similar in my opinion. We thought it possibly could work, but I kind of noticed this last game. Eric Remedi does a good job kind of covering all the like center defensive mid kind of uh, duties, but I think we still kind of need that dog. We need someone that acts like a pit bull, someone like a Diego Chara. I know we're gonna play him next game, but we definitely still need someone like that, so that Eric Remedi can go a little bit more forward and he's not as gassed. I think Jackson Yule he could probably stay around if he moved to the 10 or if he became like a solid 10 or an 8. He could make the field every match, but again, that's our captain, so he has to be on the field. So if we can look at maybe trading away a Jan Grey Goose, and I know I have a jersey right here, and I don't want to do that, but I at the end of the day, I think they're a little too close in talent or not in talent, but in skill sets. So it's kind of a waste to have both on the roster, especially Jan doesn't make the field every game. So it's just like, well, we have this close to DP or TAM player that we're just not using. So at the end of the day, if we can get some sort of pit bull or some sort of six or some sort of outside back for him, I'm happy with it. Give me that, and then we'll go out and get John Brooks, and bam, this fan base, we're selling 18,000 tickets again. If we go get John Brooks and we go trade for an outside back, everybody's happy. Everybody and their mom's going to be filling those seats, and Jeremy Vosey's still going to be on a tear. Espinoza's still going to have a great year. This whole season will be flipped. Again, I still think this is the time that we definitely need to go ahead and get one of those international superstars. And it doesn't have to be a crazy one. It can be, I know East Coast kind of crazy, but it can be like a John Brooks. Like I said, that's one I really like. It doesn't have to be a Suarez. Let that be Austin. Let that be DC United with Lingard. And we could take a John Brooks. You know what that reminds me of, Sass? That's a Clarence Goodson type of transfer. A player that can still give you tons of years for the Quakes and is kind of like a Quakes mini legend. I ain't gonna lie. He's someone that everybody really liked when he was playing for the Quakes. So I truly think that this season still has a lot of faith in it and still has a lot of hope. I truly think that this season's not over, and I think the overreactions were a little hot on Sunday. It's unfortunate. Yeah, nobody wants to lose at home, but again, this is not a Houston team that we're normally used to seeing. This is a Houston team that's injected $10 million in their transfers in this last year. So this is a Houston team that really, really wants to make a statement in their market and really, really wants to make a statement in MLS. Saz, any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'd love to see Brooks here too. I think that's a great signing. I completely agree. I think Yule's a 10. I don't think he's a central mid per se, and like it's not like a Montero 10. It's like more of a it's something between 10 and 8, which I know is 9, but like
So a young Grey Goose 8? No, the
yeah,
young
yeah.
Grey Goose 10?
The young Grey Goose, and I think you'll give us different things and different attributes, but with the squad around us and the who we sort of, in my opinion, have to play as far as we need a Montero.
Yeah.
We think it's proven we need a defensive mid, which leaves us and we need wingers.
Yeah.
Which then only leaves us with one mid role left, and then it really condenses Yule and Grey Goose to very similar players.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're saying with that. It's so tough when you see so many good midfielder options, Skane, Jakaris.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, with Nico, I've only seen him play some of the scrubbier teams, Open Cup teams. Like, so I haven't seen him play against grown men yet, but the kid looks like he's actually, like, out of all the youngins, I've been most impressed by him in his few minutes. I'm not really adding Cade or Benji into that because they're kind of established already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so tough who we want to see to bring. I think results at the end of the day are what are going to fill seats if we're looking to fill seats. I'm really looking at it as a building year or two, sadly. I know, and it kind of seems like we're doing that every year. But at least now it kind of seems like we have a game plan.
Yeah.
And like under Leach, it seems like there's been 5-year plans made already. Like nothing that he said. I just said 5-year plan because that's like the term. But I'm scared to give it the trust because we hear it every season. We got the players. We got this, and then we win a couple games. We lose a bunch of games. We win a really big game. Then we lose a game we should have won.
Right.
And it's like, all right, we'll start winning these, and now we're gonna make playoffs. Oh shoot, we're losing these again. Oh, we're winning. It's just a roller coaster. So for mental health reasons, I like to take it a game at a time.
Right.
But yeah, that's my 2 pieces on that. I guess 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is Quakes fandom, right? We're here. We're gonna love the team, or we're gonna follow the team, support the team until you can't, So I know a lot of people that aren't renewing, and to me that's a little bit unfortunate. I feel like let them get one more transfer window in and then make your decision. That's what I would personally do. But I feel like this is gonna be a fun kind of time ahead. I think if we bring in a guy like John Brooks, that's gonna easily fill in 5,000 more people, especially John Brooks, the guy who's a main namestay in the United States men's national team. Even if Berhalter doesn't really like him, he's still that kind of big name. But Saz, I know you watch a lot of international soccer, or a little bit, at least outside of MLS. Are you excited for any of the Celta Vigo players that are coming in?
Oh, I want to see Luca De La Torre. That's the only one I care about. U.S. international player. He looks out. Shout out to my friend Ben. Like, their faces don't look similar. Like, when they're playing, the way they run is identical. Their posture is identical. Our whole group chat, anytime De La Torre does anything, like, Ben, great assist, Ben, this. So I need to get a photo with him and just get like a quick video saying, Ben, what's up? That's what I'm looking forward to that. But I actually am more excited for the Quakes players. I want to see Nico play. I want to see Cruz play, Cruz Medina.
Yeah.
I want to see Matt get some minutes again. I'd like to see Emmy get his first cap. I'd like to see some. Jack hasn't played too much this season, as at least a full 90. I'd like to see him play a bit more. Agrin. I want to see some of the guys that aren't playing play.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And they will get that
I,
opportunity tomorrow, I feel like.
yeah, and I just realized like this whole time I'm like, that John Brooks point is great. Like, yeah, we should. I just did hear Berhalter say today, and I think it's a Berhalter excuse. I think Berhalter just doesn't want him in the group. But Berhalter says we've been playing more of a high pressing line, and I want some more defenders who are used to that. And Brooks didn't really have to play that, so I'm sure that will be some excuse to not go with us. But
Yeah, and Berhalter is just making excuse after excuse because he's a born leader, John Brooks. He should be in that national team's squad. Yeah,
most experience in the squad by far.
right. A player that I'm excited for is Iago Aspas. I believe he was on
Yeah,
Liverpool for a
yeah,
couple of years, and he's always crazy good in FIFA later on in the years
yeah,
for some
yeah,
weird
yeah, yeah.
reason.
Always got that curled shot. Yeah,
Yeah, and then Aquino, another Peruvian player that's a namestay in that Peruvian side. So I would say watch out for those two guys. Those two guys are going to be real good for. And you know what? Celta Vigo is a good team, yeah, but let's see what we can do to a mid-table kind of La Liga team. I feel like not truly mid-table, maybe from 12 to 7. I feel like that's what they usually kind of go into that category. But let's see what we can do. I mean, let's not be Inter Miami and get beat 6-0 against Barca. So I mean,
yeah. I actually hope Lopez gets to play because I think he and Christian, which it sucks because I don't think they're gonna play only because we have a game on Sunday and that should be such a quick turnaround. And
yeah,
Christian just played a full 90, but I know they're two players that have either been in La Liga like Christian or
right,
like they're looking at La Liga,
right, yeah.
like it's like a not like right now, but as like a holy grail. So it's that'd be cool to let them get an opportunity like that. But realistically, I don't think I'm seeing either of them.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of Cade, to be honest. A lot of Cade. I think we're going to see a lot of the guys who were talking about, Nico, a lot of Jack. I think Buddha makes a start. So I
I
think,
think Richmond might make an appearance.
yeah, I would say so. But yeah, that's all for us, guys. Thank you so much for kind of tuning in. Make sure you guys tune in to Saz's Aftershock SJ. He makes a great podcast on there. And keep going ahead and following us on Instagram, on Twitter, and then follow Saz too on Twitter and Instagram. I feel like he does a lot of good, kind of those little bite-sized aftershocks where I remember seeing the potential in those when I was in Japan, and seeing them flourish really makes me happy. So if you guys want to go ahead and
If
support, go ahead.
Yeah, if you guys are into breaking news and seriousness and just everything earthquakes, I'm not your guy. But if you want a good laugh and you're ready just to be like, look, we lost, but like I still love the guys, and I'm just looking for a quick 1 minute to 20 minute laugh, whether it be the podcast or the aftershock things. I'm your guy. Like I'm not meant to be taken serious. We're all just having a good time over at mine. I think my last post got a few of the players to chuckle. They actually came up to me and said it was funny, which was really like heartwarming to hear. Yeah, that's me.
I feel like everyone's just a secret, Saz fan, out there
Yeah,
like, I can't like this because I don't know what it implies, but I
yeah,
think
yeah,
you can go tell Saz later on.
yeah, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. My name is Favian Renkel. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And this is my boy Saz. Go, please support him and follow him. And all I have to say is go Quakes. Take care.